What do I do?
We might be on.
Are we on?
Oh.
We're on.
Has anybody checked?
We're on. Yeah, we're on.
Okay.
Hi, guys.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We're here again to play The Gods Are Dead and Into the Dungeon game. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. If you enjoy the festivities and revelries we will be partaking in tonight, then definitely check us out on inthedungeon.net and on our Patreon /Into the Dungeon. And before I mess it up, I'm going to get to DMing. So last time on The Gods Are Dead, you guys had found the interwebs of a black book. And were being spammed with all kinds of information and going through different kinds of informational feeds of things that you never thought you would need to know.
It wasn't a pop-up book, was it?
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't, yeah.
Sorry.
It seemed to be able to read your surface thoughts about what it was you were interested in learning. And like some of you had realized that where maybe you thought 30 seconds had passed, quite a bit more time, maybe 10 times more actually, had passed by. And you were caught up in little informational rabbit holes. But you did gain some information on a potentially interesting alchemical agent called alkahest, and the fact that it seems to be able to dissolve just about anything. There was a question about whether or not glass was stone. I believe I said yes. Because what glass is made out of. Sand is made out of stone, and you heat the sand up enough and it becomes glass. So for the purpose of this, glass is considered a stone.
Second question.
Yeah.
This is very important. I don't know how we can go on without this. So Katanathoa and Shev Nigroth, they're basically, for all intents and purposes, great old ones, right?
Yes.
So that would make Alkahest Gugon is what?
Great old
one. God,
Jesus Christ. Oh my golly, gee willikers. Yeah, I guess Gugon, man.
Yeah.
Can we label the bottles with that? That sounds.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
If you want to trademark it, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe we're about to.
Great old one gone, man.
Yeah, I thought about that like 3 days ago, and it took all of my willpower to not bring it up until now. I really probably should have waited like 3 more episodes, but this is that's what I can do.
It's a good one. It's a good one. It's a keeper.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be our first The Gods Are Dead shirt.
Just a bottle of Goo spraying. Oh no!
Applied directly to the gaping maw.
All right.
It's just one of our D&D party members like throwing Goof down into a great old one that's like squirming around with the little X's on its eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you don't know exactly where or what creates the materials for alkahest, basically. But you have an idea of what it could be and where it could be. You're just not sure exactly where. So we can jump right in on what you guys would like to do.
I think we should go talk to Bartholomew Jenkins, and maybe he knows how.
Well, you guys were talking
That's
to him.
right.
Yeah.
He didn't know.
Yeah, and he was
We were
like, get that fucking book away from me. That's what it was.
Yeah. Library.
Yeah. Yeah, you could do some research in the library.
Yes.
So
maybe ask around.
in this city where there's so many sort of like competing guilds of sorts, is there like a resource center that's not a library, like somewhere that like, oh, we know that there are these type of creatures, or maybe there's like quests in that area, right? To just make it worth our time. Like, yeah, we're definitely not going to harvest slime materials. We're going to grab moss from the underside of the Gray Mountains. I don't know.
There is competition, but for the most part, it's usually the guilds will specialize in something. So yours kind of being a ragtag, it's almost like you get the quest that nobody else wants to do, or the pay is so little that it's not worth their time. They could be hunting after bigger fish for a bigger payday. So it's kind of like the quest that your guild ends up getting, and it's worked out just fine, especially with the tavern kind of as a backup cash flow for when players don't want to fork up the treasures that they find. When adventurers, yeah. So
who would do such a thing?
So
Terrible.
What kind of selfish bastards?
There are those really well established guilds that, you know, there might be one that, or there probably is one that is more well versed in hunting down beasts or monsters.
I guess we could also ask Genus that same. I mean, we would look like real morons if he's like, "Yeah, I knew where that thing was the whole time. There's one in the basement."
How do you think we get rid of all the scraps?
Yeah, but
Have you checked out our garbage disposal?
I have, in fact.
Of course you have.
Yeah.
So somebody go to the library, somebody go talk to Genus, or we all do it together.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say endless possibilities, but I think you guys are on the right track for the right possibilities.
Yeah. Let's go to the Inkatorium again and ask them. Maybe it's like a really good ink too. You know, like it's got a real good. It doesn't really help
Real
the
nice
color,
burn.
but it protects it. You know.
Yeah.
I guess we could go together. If we don't go together, I'll go to the library.
Either way, I'm not gonna make it stretched out. You just let me know who you want to talk to first.
We don't bring Char to libraries, not after what happened last time.
Look, it wasn't my fault.
We don't need the library to shut down again. Yeah.
There was a roach. I'm sorry.
You really shouldn't bring somebody whose hands catches on fire when they get frustrated to place
Yeah.
flammable. That's just
Yeah, no.
Yeah, you guys could definitely head out to find an adventure for a certain guild. You could go to the library. You could hit up old Genus.
I'm gonna try Genus first, just in case. Or
For proximity's sake. He's
it
probably
just
closest, right?
feels wrong. Like, hey, listen, we know you're a mentor and saved our lives, even though we totally ignore what you said. But we went to the library first. It just seems like maybe we should ask him first. It just seems more polite that way.
I bet you he's going to tell us to go to the library.
That is ridiculous. Genus is a seasoned adventurer. He knows many things. I'm nearly positive that he will know off the top of his head exactly what we are looking for.
Oh, yeah, perhaps we'll see.
It's gonna be hilarious when he tells you to go to the library.
It's going to be absolutely hilarious.
Yeah. So yeah, you guys, I mean, it's not that far of a walk. Like the nice, respectable part of town that you guys usually hang out in, it's, just a few blocks, if that.
You think Terry Tinto stays in the respectable part of town?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like where the tavern is, it's the part that gets the trash gets cleaned up. At least.
Yeah, it's me.
That's
I'm
because
cleaning the trash.
Terry's room.
It wasn't a part of the nice part of the city, but then Terry moved in.
He's like basically accidentally gentrified the whole area.
Yeah. He's gentrified the area, and so people started moving in because they were like,
He's
"Oh wow,
the real displacer bee."
yeah." So you guys head to the tavern, and Genus is there. You guys, did you ever take a long rest? You did, didn't you?
I think
Before?
I would like to hope he would. I don't remember saying
No, because you jumped from the black book.
That's right.
So you guys have just this has just been a long 2 days where you guys got back. You found the black book, then you ran over to Bartholomew. Yeah, so you guys get back. It's probably late. It's probably a lot later in the day. And Genus is there, kind of just doing this thing, cleaning some glasses or whatever. And as you guys enter, there seems to be a couple people trickled in the afternoon. He decided to go ahead and open up. You do see him, couple guests, and you see Tamara in the corner sitting in her usual spot in front of the fireplace.
She's alive.
I think given how long the day is, a very out of character for him. Little Veg is going to go up and ask for a drink. I don't even know what you have. Just something strong would be ideal.
You said Tamara was resting next to the fireplace?
Yeah.
Tamara, who was lost underneath the sandworms.
That's a good point. No,
Yeah, that's what I went. She's alive?
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
I hope she's alive and it's not just some weird taxidermy thing. That would be.
That would be weird.
We should go check it out.
Would that be any weirder than the stuff that's already had?
We totally haven't seen stuff essentially taxidermy. No.
So you ask for a strong drink. There's really not a lot of options because Clawry's cheap to try and keep the revenue going. So he just hands you just a dark ale.
It's as long as it's dark. That's my aesthetic.
Yeah.
That's what he cares about.
He's gotten to know you all right, so he gives you the dark one.
Sensei, we have a lead on something that might help with our worm problem.
Interesting.
We need to acquire some alkahest. They said that we should go to the library, but I knew that you would be our best source of information.
I'm not familiar with this alkahest.
I told you he said we would go to the library.
What is it?
It's a solvent, apparently. It's
A solvent?
yeah.
It can melt. It can melt pretty much anything.
Except for stones.
Except
It's like
for
that really, really
possibly,
but
possibly glass. The scholars were very ambiguous about that part. We're not entirely.
like a potion? Like element? Or
Yeah.
ingredients?
alchemical.
well, sort of, but it's
Alchemical.
essentially that really, really cheap, strong alcohol you have, but much, much worse.
Oh, shine? Moonshine?
But much, much worse.
Times 1,000.
He kind of looks over your shoulder and goes, Tamara, you know this alkahest they speak of?
Also, good to see you alive.
Yes.
Yeah,
How-
she'll come over. Her normal, she doesn't seem any different. She comes over and she goes, what are you looking for alkahest for?
Well,
Do you remember the thing that almost ate you and the rest of us?
Well, perhaps the giant worming creature.
Yes, we've uncovered a source that it seems to be our best chance will be to acquire some alkahest and attack. them
Not a
with
bad idea. That's pretty good. Alkahest is not used in large quantities because of its caustic properties. But I think most of the time when a resource quest goes out, it's usually on the coast. There are some caves out on the coast that the creatures like to live in. It's not that hard to get to. It's kind of not as quite as far. Kind of. Well, I guess it is far. But I mean, there's a lot of trade routes that way. There's a lot of those little towns popping on the coast, and you guys had noticed that too. That there are little towns that kind of popped up on the coast because there's money to be made in fishing and other resources that you can get. I'm sure that you can acquire some pretty quickly.
Have you perhaps dabbled in any sort of alchemy? I'm not really sure how we're going to process this, this alkahest, but we're going to try to extract the caustic properties of some sort of creature out there. We propose.
Well, for the most part, whenever the resource requests come in, it's not a difficult task to do. Usually, the pools within the cave will have this reagent in it. It's just a matter of finding less diluted versions of it. With the water would come in, and so if you can find a nice pool deep in the cave, usually you can get a pretty good condensed version of it. And then you can dilute it however you need to for whatever your purposes are. But usually not large quantities are required.
Well, thankfully, we've never found anything odd and dangerous in a pool within a cave, so this should likely be no issue for us.
I mean, sometimes there is a little scrimmage, but most everybody comes back just fine. Usually you don't have to go too deep. From what I understand. I don't actually go on the adventures usually.
So we greatly appreciate the information.
Yeah. Good luck. You have to make sure you have enough your vials or beakers or whatever it is, cylinders you wish to use. It's pretty easy to get in a desert.
There's some sort of alchemy shop around here where we could purchase such a thing. We could
Of course.
reuse some of the ones we have, but I understand that's quite reviled.
I once had a large jar, but I filled it full of red moss and threw it in full of a pit with a slimy tentacle brain inside, and now it's gone.
We're
Yes,
not
you
going
can,
back to get it.
You can get any of those resources within the shopping district. It'll be pretty easy. With the library here, there's a much need for that kind of thing. So yeah, you guys are able to go to the shopping district. It's not that far away. This town is pretty much a grid system. So you're able to go a little ways into just a normal general shopping district. You got your grocery store, you got your pharmacy, you got your I don't know, your seamstress. You got your kind of general one-stop outdoor mall right here.
Instead of Belk's. Oh, Spencer's, we must stop there.
No.
So yeah, so acquiring these things, it doesn't cost a whole lot. If you would, I'm not interested in nickel and dime you guys. So I think for like a few silvers, you're able to get probably 2 or 3 for each of you. Little just glass bottles, really. Even, just like wine bottle size if you wanted to.
I feel like, I don't know, but do we get a sense of how substantial of a quantity of this that we need? Do we need to get some kind of glass keg and...
I don't. This thing was like gargantuan, right? Like this was a huge creature. So
Yeah.
I want a keg at least.
That, yeah,
Yeah,
If not like 2.
Possibly not a keg, but you could probably get like the large glass like vials that they would use in like a distillery.
Yeah, that would
Or
work.
like an alchemy kind of setup for potion making. You could probably get some like one of those for maybe like a silver piece instead of a few smaller bottles for.
Yeah, it's
So
kind
you
of
could get-
creepy to think about carrying that though.
Yeah, I would say probably like 2-gallon glass what is it, a vial at that point? I don't know.
Beaker.
Is,
Or like a
I mean,
kinda
but it's,
beaker.
It's
yeah.
like a flask but bigger. I'm gonna go with flasket. I think that
Yeah.
Dear
Yeah,
Lord.
something like that. And there's corks and stuff that you can stop it up with. Well, I don't know. I guess you would need a glass.
we do need
Stopper.
or a stone stopper. I don't or a very oddly shaped rock.
We can
Eh.
get ones that fit. We could have the earth
Or
giants
clay
that.
clay stopper maybe.
Yeah, that
Oh.
that would make a lot more or dirt,
Yeah.
I guess, would work
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, they even if with just a little. I mean, it's clay dirt. They can probably you could probably go to a potter or something like that and get like a clay stopper. That would work pretty well for you guys.
Can we get a I don't know if this is possible or if the route we're traveling on would allow for this. I almost want to get like a wagon because I don't want to walk back with this on
Definitely.
on my
Mhm.
person because that
Mhm.
seems like and I tripped and then I fell and then I melted.
It shattered. I melted. You know.
It was bad.
A potter just might not be a bad idea. Anyways, if we want like a big substantial thing to carry all this
That's
shit,
true.
just mega
Yeah.
acid in.
The potter with us.
Can
Is
we
his
borrow
name
you for a
Harry?
little bit? And
He's a
then-
dwarf,
Is
so
he
he is
Harry
a
the
Harry
Potter?
Potter, but
Mm.
not.
Yeah.
not just a.
The pottery, a little less expensive, but for something that's porous, something that's non-porous, something that's glazed, and baked to the right temperature is going to be a little bit more expensive. So it'd probably wash with the glass at that point, like having a glazed pottery. But if
Go
you
ahead.
wanted, but it's usually going to be your cooking pots, your vases. They usually have a pretty wide mouth on them.
Hmm.
Yeah,
The drinking jugs and stuff are going to be a little bit smaller.
I was thinking like one of those big Greek urns, essentially.
Yeah, but they'll just have like a wider opening than your glass vial.
That does sound dangerous. I think maybe we should just go with the
Yeah,
glass
I'm gonna-
vials. Smaller openings sounds.
Either one would be a viable option because the cost of them is about the same. But
Okay.
What about like, God, jugs, glass jugs where they've got the really small opening, but they're big.
Yeah.
The flask.
Well, I'm thinking like triple X moonshine jug, like.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Anything that they just readily have would be something like you would get for a distillery kit or a potion making kit or something like that. Anything custom would have to be made custom.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
Just get the the biggest glass stuff we can find. Get a glass top from.
Yeah, so you can probably get like a gallon and a half or 2-gallon. Get a couple of those for a silver each.
Get like a wagon with maybe some hay in it, just so like I assume they ship like potions and stuff in the kind of hay or straw, so it's not just gonna break.
Yeah, you can definitely do that. I mean, your guild has enough gold to be able to afford that. Wagons.
They'll give us a wagon full of straw. Thanks, Genus.
Yeah. They're like, put it on the tab.
Please go and acquire this magical chemical that will save our lives. We have given you this mighty steed.
Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, you're not going to get top of the line, but
It's a second-hand whack
yeah.
with third-hand straw.
Yeah. But Genus is, he has a good reputation in the town. So that makes it quite easy for you to obtain resources that you need. So yeah, you guys are able to get all those things. You're able to definitely make sure you have enough water, rations, food, that kind of thing for your trip. It is a bit of ways, but it's pretty easy. Most of it's actually just traveling through the sand. So it's not like there's a lot of rough terrain or anything for you guys. You're actually headed away from those where those sinkholes had been appearing. You're headed in the opposite direction, so it
Well,
doesn't
good
seem.
luck, everybody.
No,
Yeah.
Does Terry ride in the wagon on the way over? That seems like that would be.
Yeah, I mean, he can ride in the wagon.
I have
Any of
small
you.
feet. This is good for me. Okay,
Yeah.
you don't want me to get tired out before we get there.
I mean, and this isn't like a month-long trip. This is almost the same distance when you guys had gone to see Osire's family.
So still not as
Big
bad as
feet,
Char's
short
family.
legs.
That's still the furthest we've had to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's about it's a bit better. You're able to make a good time to get there, and it's, I mean, able to do downtime activities or whatever as well. Maybe some sword tricks while you're trying to balance on a moving wagon.
That would
I
be.
want to say he tries to search
Interesting.
down the dude on his sword, but that seems very disrespectful to your sword. So
Yeah, you need the
like,
shield.
yeah, that's. I guess
So-
it's got big giant buster swords though. I mean, it would work. It's just.
Yeah. But it takes you guys roughly 4 days. You're kind of, I'll say that you're kind of focused on the plan, and you got to get back. So it takes you 4 days. You end up arriving at these caves. You kind of see that there are parts of the beach that will meet the water, and then there are these parts that almost are like kind of small cliffs, and it's more rocky in those areas. And just by looking around, you're able to figure out that there are kind of these cave-like structures where the water has just kind of eroded into these rock surfaces, and made these kind of little caves. But I mean, they're kind of, I wouldn't say they're like littered all on the coast, but you definitely see a rather nice grouping of these caves, a nice size where it's not, you'd have to crawl through. You can actually walk through in order to get into it. It's just a little deck save to try and get to the mouth of the cave without slipping and falling and busting something.
Busting your ass. Okay. Okay. Well.
I can probably do that. Probably.
You were so quiet, Matthew. What?
I should be quiet. Hello. I said I could
Yeah.
probably do that. Probably. We'll see.
Funny enough, my dex isn't that bad. It should be fine. I should be fine.
Yes, I feel like somebody with they can see well in the dark should probably go first. Lord of Edge, you're surely. I think
I got
you're
the
right one
12.
for the job. 12.
God,
So are you going down first alone?
That would make the most sense to me because he's clearly the most adept at this.
Yeah,
and
that's
will have
fine.
The least
12's
problem.
good
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
You're able to kind of find a path down. It maybe looks a little worn, so maybe this isn't you're not the first humanoid creatures to walk into this area. You can kind of notice there's a little carved here and there to make it a little easier and flat. It's just slick. You just got to watch your footing.
And I'll even light up a torch so that my companions will not fall and die.
Nice.
I can see in the dark. I am a literal torch. What?
I can't.
Yeah. Scary.
Don't worry, we'll be able to light your path. It's fine.
So I kinda
We'll be
forgot I
the
had
light of your life.
Kinda
Oh.
forgot I had slowfall too. I probably could have just. That's weird though, because it's like a slope.
Yeah.
I do need
Yeah.
everybody else to make a deck save though.
I'm about to roll. Let's see. Oh, natural 19, so that's a dirty 20.
It's unnatural 19.
You didn't seem sure about that.
I was thinking about the unnatural versus natural and not a 20. That didn't make a
Oh,
lot,
you
that
guys
didn't
do
make a lot of
fine.
sense.
You guys and
It
you
was a
see
19.
you see the path that Lord Edge takes, and you're like, "Oh, that's easy," and you like skip down just fine.
Mhm.
Where he was trying to be
Yeah.
very cautious on his way down, and you guys are like, "Yeah, it's basically just stairs." And so you guys are able to get down just fine. When you get down, you are standing in a few inches of water as the waves come in and out. You can definitely see like if the tide was a little bit higher, it would probably fill like the first few feet of the cave. Right now, it seems to be pretty easy to get into.
We must get out of here before Terry drowns.
Oh, I mean,
How many inches is it
piggyback
up?
ride?
And so it's like the soles of your feet, basically.
okay.
It's not too bad.
Not that tall.
You're able to splash. You're able to get a nice little little spat.
Splash down.
Yeah. So as you traverse, it's gonna be slick. So you walk in and you can kind of see with your torch these where the rock is bumpy and pitted from the salty water coming in and out, making these interesting odd grooves in the ground. You can see these pools where they are pretty calm, of just standing what looks to be just water. And they have various sizes. So there are small little ones, there are big ones, there seems to be an especially large one a little bit. Probably about 30 to 40 feet in is the start of, it looks like a much bigger pool. And it's dim. You have plenty of light, but as you get to the cave, it's more dim light than it is like full light.
We'll have to take in consideration that something's making these deposits. I start looking up at the ceiling to make sure there isn't just like horrifying stuff up there.
Give me a perception
Okay.
or investigation,
Oh, yeah, thank you. There we go. That would be a little bit
since
better.
you're looking for something.
Yeah. That's an 18.
You definitely see rocks. You kind of see
Hmm.
a like water's not really dripping down, but the rock in some places, as you're kind of taking your time to explore a little bit, some of the rock definitely seems a little smoother and less kind of pitted lava rock esque. At your feet, it seems very slick and kind of smooth in some spots. And it's not like dripping, it's just kind of keeping its like a round, smooth shape. And you can kind of see it here and there. Like you'll see maybe like a foot or two here, and maybe 6 feet down, you'll see like another foot of this kind of almost like like a mildew, but like a giant pocket of just this kind of black, slimy stuff.
Okay, so it looks like almost like water. Like it almost kind of looks like water, like a dirty, sludgy water, like that's like condensed on the ceiling.
Yeah, like it. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Whatever it is, it's not groovy.
That's gross. That's gross.
Yeah, possibly you definitely see it and you notice it around the cave. But what it is exactly, you're not sure. It looks like maybe something just growing in this moist environment. Possibly.
All right. Just out of player fear in general,
Yeah.
how many of these kind of things do I notice from?
You notice like just a collection of them in a particular spot. Like I said, you notice like maybe 2 feet and of this like wavy icky stuff, and then maybe 6 feet from that you see another, and then maybe like in between those you'll see like a smaller little collection. So in about a 10 to 15 foot span, you kind of notice these little collections of icky, slimy stuff attached to the ceiling.
Right. Okay.
But as you like look at the walls and look at the floor, you don't notice the same. It just seems to be just on the ceiling.
Okay. Guys, I think there's something up with the ceiling. There's some sort of growth up there.
Okay.
Throw a fire at it and see what happens.
I was gonna say produce flame and then just launch it at it.
Yeah, give me a roll.
Let's see. This is 12 plus 6 is 18 to hit.
Mm. You hit.
Okay.
I need everybody to roll initiative.
Oh,
Oh
no.
shit. I'm sorry.
Oh, what are you doing? This is my home. That was my family.
You know, now that we're attacking it, I just realized I have an extended range for a mage hand. I probably just could have took the vials and like 60 feet out and scooped
You
it up.
know, I was kind of thinking
could've.
about that, but
Should
a little bit. No, it's too late now. We've made our.
should I roll damage?
Yeah.
Okay, that's that's actually pretty decent damage. That's a 8, a 4. That's 12 damage in total. For produce flame. That's not bad.
Nice. Oops.
Okay. I like this die. White confetti die is doing me good.
I got a 7.
I got a 17.
Nice.
I got a 29.
Oh, well, shit. Okay.
How'd you get a 29?
I have +5 dexterity, +5 for alert, and I rolled a 19.
I see. That is how math works. Maybe I'll roll above a 10 before the night's up. We'll see.
Okay, so Char got a surprise attack on it. So then we are to Terry. So she hits it, and then while you're staring at this thing, you notice that it moves. Like it was affected, and it's not just the piece that she hits moves. This whole 10, 15 foot area moves. It quakes.
Oh, God, let's leave. This is terrible. I can't believe we've done this.
Like her flame made a ripple effect through the.
Char, why did you throw fire at it?
You've told me to.
Details.
All right. Then yeah, Terry.
I don't like it being anywhere. Okay, so I'm going to ready an action. I'm going to ready the cantrip booming blade.
Mm-hmm.
For if something like that, whatever is up there comes down to say hi to me.
Just
and-
high.
I mean, if it comes close enough to hit with
Okay.
booming blade. Very specific. And I don't know. I'll probably Char's bigger than Lord of Edge. I'll hide behind Char, roughly. I wouldn't say quite behind, like next to. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we have a ready to action Char.
Yeah. Fire seems to piss it off.
Well, I mean, you've just seen it kind of ripple, so you know you've affected it.
Yeah, I know I've affected it, but still. So, how many times could I use this? Is it just once? I think it's just once until I take a long rest. Yeah, I can only use it once per long rest. Okay. Well, I think I'm gonna hold off on using burning hands at it.
Are you
That's
sure?
a choice.
Are you sure?
It's a choice.
I mean, you can't just go straight to burning finger.
You
gotta do the
can't
whole-
you can't automatically go into burning hands.
you gotta do
But
the
I
whole
can
first.
continue produce flame.
Okay.
I will pull out but first I will pull out my railroad hammer. No warhammer. And have that in my hand.
The
and
Warhammer
then-
called Railroad.
It's called Piroth, but Railroad might as well be its name.
Okay.
And point your finger and produce flame.
Mm-hmm.
Boof. Hit it. Let's go. Let's try.
Did you hit it?
Does a 12 hit?
Yes.
Okay,
Ooh.
yeah, then yes, I did hit it. I rolled a 6 and then I have +6. So where's my other? Okay, there's my other. That is only 6 damage this time. That's fine. It's 6s. God, that's 3 6s. Okay.
6s for what?
I rolled a 6. I have a +6 to hit, and then I got 6 damage. So it's just
So you're cursed.
I'm cursed. Yes. And that's what I'm
Fun
getting
playing with you guys. I'm cursed now.
Wait till you start rolling all 13s. It's great.
at. Oh. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Yeah, I think I don't have. Yeah. That's it.
Okay, great. Lord of Edge.
I assume that these things are too high up on the ceiling to hit with my swords.
Yeah.
It's
Good.
okay, because while I have not used it very much, actually do have another Kensai weapon. I will take out my longbow,
Nice.
and I will use my bonus action to do a thing I have not done before, which is a Kensai shot, which is where I will channel some of my ki into the bow, and it will do an extra 1d4 damage if I hit him.
Nice.
Whoa.
Yeah.
The Kensai monk is pulling out stuff today. Nice.
What is an arrow but an edge on a stick?
I was thinking that.
It's really just a tiny spear with feathers attached. great.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Just see. Okay, so that was a 10. I rolled a 2.
Mm-hmm.
The second
Yeah.
one is a 26, which I bet hits better.
Well, I mean, they both hit,
Oh,
Nice.
this is
but the 26 definitely hits better.
it hits better. Okay, so that's gonna be 2d8. It's 25 damage.
Ooh.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Yeah,
Ouch.
I rolled real good on that.
So it's a 70.
Make sure the yeah, any target you hit the range attack takes is it's 1d4 for each hit. So
Nice. Oh,
Significant.
right.
you'll
Now it
never
is
save
the,
from my edge.
The slick, bubbly thing.
Venom.
Yeah. I mean, really.
Oh no.
We're gonna get black suit.
Please,
Venom?
no.
Wait, no, it's the same thing.
So let's see. So roughly what is the range on your produce flame?
Produce flame has a range of. Let me double check. Well, it says range area itself, but whenever I hurl it, it's 30 feet.
Okay.
So I can throw it 30 feet
So
away.
would you say that you threw it the max, or were you closer?
25 feet, almost max.
Okay. So yeah, I mean these ceilings are tall enough that you might be able to graze the edge of the ceiling with your sword, but not really get like a good hit
Yeah.
out on it. So you end up seeing this where is this? And this creature kind of instead of being up against the ceiling, its form seems to be collecting itself a little bit more. It is grouping itself up instead of being stretched. You definitely see this black ichor like creature. And as it's collecting itself, it's gonna go. Lord of Edge, did you also get close to this thing, or did you kind of use like your
I don't think you would have got.
I think you used a longbow attack last
Right,
time.
that's what I'm saying,
I
like-
don't think you would have.
Okay.
I think Char's probably closest. Is what. I
Yeah,
would think.
so
Just
you're
'cause,
gonna
like,
s-
I'm able to shoot my the distance on the longbow is basically yes.
it's gonna, as it's collecting itself, it's starting to move. It's kind of like gum stretching, and it snaps back, and it kind of is moving across the ceiling, and then you see it kind of drop down, just kind of detach itself from the ceiling, and it's definitely not a solid form. It doesn't really seem to have much of a form, as it kind of like when it drops, it kind of pools back out and comes up. And it gets itself, it ends up having to use its total speed, but it ends up getting itself close enough to Char to try and whack her.
Gross. Okay.
How close is that?
Well, she said she's roughly 25 feet, so it has
Yes.
20 feet of movement.
Okay. All right.
Well, and also
Um,
like she had to get close enough to hit it while it was up in the air. So
Yeah.
like,
So it has 5-foot reach.
Okay.
So it worked.
All
She
right,
said
Flubber.
25, and that's what
You
I
said
needed.
25.
So
Oh,
Evil,
fuck.
evil flubber. Let's see how this goes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
evil flubber.
does a 16 hit?
16 is my AC.
Meets a beats.
Okay.
Meets it.
All right.
Eats.
Oh.
So you kind of see this thing. It drops down, kind of pulls, comes back, and then it kind of like sends this tendril out. It kind of just like kind of punches you with it because you've hit it twice now. So it does 6 on the bludgeoning.
Fuck. Okay.
Is your armor magical?
No.
No.
It is
Okay.
standard.
And then after it touches you, so it's real quick. It goes pop, just like that. And you're like, F, that hurt. But then you're like, that's weird. And you kind of see where it hit you. It starts to burn away. It kind of smokes a little bit as you smell the metal and leather of your armor start to melt away.
Oh no, we should have covered ourselves in mud first.
And you take 18 acid damage.
Oh no! Ah.
Yeah, that like you take 6 bludgeoning damage. Like
Ow.
and
And
And you have a -1 to your AC.
what the
with my swords.
Okay.
So then, Terry, it's your turn. So you see this happen. You see it kind of like give her a little pop, and you're like, "Ah, it's not so bad." And then Char starts exclaiming,
It's burning! It's burning! It's burning! It's burning!
Oh no. Well, unfortunately, it looked like it didn't actually get close enough within that 5 feet for me to pull off my my held action. So I will. It's my turn, right?
"It is well." I don't know what's you need to be within 5 feet of it in order to do your held action, and it's
Oh.
5 feet from Char, and you're within her space, right?
I said I was right next to her, but I didn't want to choose. I didn't want to game it too. So he has reach, right? So he technically.
It's 5-foot reach.
Oh, just
Yeah,
5
5
feet reach.
foot.
Oh, so he did come within 5 feet.
Yeah.
of me.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
okay.
yeah.
I'm
So
Char, or
so
you
do
in
your held
Char's spot?
action.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't realize that. Okay.
Do
my bad.
your held action, and then you'll get your turn.
Okay, nice. I'm really going to be doubling up here. So that is a 7 plus at least 7 more. So that's probably going to hit, I think.
Yeah, 7 hits.
Okay. That's pretty funny, actually. All right. And on top of that, let's see. I think it just takes the normal damage, and then on top of that, because he's been hit, he gets wreathed in booming energy.
What are you hitting him with? Exactly.
I would be hitting him with the dagger.
Gotcha.
I have
And dagger is piercing damage.
yes, yeah. So 14. Is it? It could be immune. I don't really know. But more importantly, is because I hit it with booming blade active. These sort of like reverberations start like shaking throughout like the sort of outer membrane of it, and if it moves, it'll take more damage.
So how much damage did your actual piercing do?
Oh, the actual piercing did 5, and then 9 sneak attack damage, which I think is just also piercing because the booming blade damage doesn't take place until he moves, I believe.
Okay, let's try and do math. Okay, so right, he won't take damage. I'm gonna say your reaction worked or your whole held action worked just fine because it had made the distance you needed in order for that held action to come into fruition when it reached out. Unless you are right next to it with your, you need to be like right next to it with your next turn. I'll say like it made the distance you needed to hit it as it reached out, but it is now come back.
Oh, okay.
So if you're not right next to Char within 5 feet of it, then you would need to get closer to it. If that makes sense.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Which could be like minimal, like feet. So you don't have to use your whole movement to get closer to it.
Well, if it's a held action, so I can't actually move yet. So it'd only be 5 damage then if it moved back during its turn. Oh, wait, no. Oh, wait, well, I don't know. So my sneak attack works where if
I'm trying to save you from taking some damage here.
Oh, okay. Well, then good. Yes. Yay, I like that.
I'm saying you were not technically within 5 feet of it when you did your held action. It got within 5 feet of you and then retracted.
Okay.
So now that it is your turn,
yes,
you will need to move a little bit.
Okay, that's fine.
In order to get within melee range of it.
Okay. Well, my goal here is actually not to, because I'm a coward and I don't want to be within melee range. I have already affected it with my booming blade, so I'm going to back up. I'm using my bonus action to disengage because I don't know if it has mega reach or not, and then I'm going to back up and cast magic missile.
Okay.
Which I believe just hits. So I'm gonna roll a d4, multiply it by. That's 9 total damage. It's force damage.
Nice. Let's see. Is it immune to that? No. Okay. 9. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Great. Char. Terry took a jabbed at this thing as it reached out and hit you, and then moved back and threw some missiles at it. But it's your turn now.
Okay, is it still within?
Yes,
5
it is
feet of
within
me?
melee range of you. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Well. Ooh. But it burnied me. I could burnie it back, but I think.
Okay.
I would
think I'm
save it in
going
case
to.
there's like a birthday cake that needs like.
Yeah, I'm gonna save it, but I think I'm gonna. I'm gonna save it. I'm going to rage for my bonus action.
Okay.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Must remember that. Yes. So, I've already got Piroth out. And pull out my quarterstaff, because always. And I'm going to smack down with Piroth onto it, my hammer, before going in with quarterstaff.
Oh, one thing before before you do that, Terry, you notice that your blade melts a little bit.
Oh
Ew.
no!
This is what I'm afraid of.
Yeah. So you take a -1 to damage.
To damage. Okay. Well, it's a dagger. I find them in the garbage sometimes. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Wonderful.
Ow. Dare you.
Damn.
There's
I
a
could-
finely crafted weapon.
Oh no, not this one. This one's a piece of shit.
It's not like Char's just big blunt.
Literally, like
No,
Arden.
no, that would be
It's not a dagger, it's a steak knife.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So first attack, that is a 16 to hit.
It's
which
just like
I
hits.
believe it's
just like a-
nice.
chipped kitchen knife that they threw away.
Yeah. It's like just the kitchen aid, like just the stuff that they like cut grizzle off the pans with.
That's 5 damage.
Good.
That's fine. That's
Okay.
damage. Damage is damage.
Mm-hmm. Is what kind of damage is it though? So your warhammer.
This
So it's
is
bludgeoning?
this is bludgeoning. Yes.
Got
it. I have a 10 for the quarterstaff to hit.
Okay.
Oh, that's 5 plus 2, so that's a 7 instead. Whoops.
we'll
fine.
hit.
Well, I'm saying for the damage of Piroth, it's
Oh.
actually 7, then plus 2 with rage. That's
So
9. That's 9 in total. And then for the quarterstaff, it is a d6 plus 2. Get over here. Okay. Well, plus 4. Okay, yeah, it's a 5.
nice.
I got a 1 on the
I mean, this
save.
thing is not looking as intimidating as it was when it was hanging from the ceiling. Definitely chunks of it kind of splattering off as you guys are doing
It's
damage.
making more.
Unfortunately for you, Char, you were just you've been whacking away at this thing, and you're just all that stuff that's been separating from it just coming your way.
Yeah.
And you made
Thought
2
so.
melee attacks.
Me too.
So you're gonna take 8 more acid damage.
How are you looking, Char?
If I were to give you a number out of a number, I would say 33 out of 65.
Yeah, you're fine.
I'm fine. I'm like right at half.
Take 32 damage.
I'm right at half. I'm okay. Like your character isn't half melted now.
No, it's just my weapons and armor.
And you have a -1 to damage for both weapons.
Nice. Great. Okay.
So, Lord of Edge.
So, Lord of Edge sees his good friend Char half melted. He sees people's armor and weapons melting, and he knows what he must do. So he will take his great sword and he slips it out of the bandages. He takes the bandages, wraps them around his hands, and he will teleport over and start punching. This
Okay.
My God.
You're going to throw your hands in it so that your blade isn't damaged.
yes.
Which is
Brilliant.
also good because it would have, for Lord of Edge using his sword, like this creature, just would have been hilarious. So,
No. I would.
all
I
right,
would-
punching it.
I'm gonna punch it with my hand.
Okay.
I would punch.
Which I will
it.
point out is magical.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah, good.
Yeah, that's
Good.
true.
My last attack was magical. I don't know if it matters,
Um,
but it
No.
was.
it's not immune to non-magical weapons.
So I will.
But that is good. So I'll say that your fists don't take that extra acid damage from hitting it because your
It's an 18.
fists are magical.
Holy crap.
An 18 to hit?
Yeah.
Yeah, that hits.
All right.
I need magic.
It's my
I
second.
mean,
Oh, I'll
it says
do.
non-magical weapons.
I'll burn a key
Yeah.
point in stunning strike.
Ooh.
Okay.
Interesting.
DC
Okay.
14 con save.
Is this it stuns?
Yeah.
Okay. What was the DC?
14.
Oh, it got a 16 plus 3. So,
That I will just punch it again
okay.
for a 20, not natural, and
Yeah.
I will try to stunning strike it again.
Okay.
You will be stunned.
Okay.
What it get?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I forget. It crit.
This is a weapon-eating monstrosity. Fine.
It's just it doesn't have a solid form.
I don't know what to punch. Usually you go for like the kidneys or
Yeah,
like
you punch it and it just wiggles
you get it right in the
unnaturally.
crystal, and it's like it's all jiggly. I don't know where to hit it.
Yeah.
Fine. I'll burn a third key point, and I'll just do a flurry of blows
Oh my
Okay.
and
gosh.
just punch it.
You gotta give me some damages here.
I know. The reason I did it before because I wanted to. I was going to do the damage all at once,
Oh, okay.
and also I didn't know if I was getting advantage on the strikes or not.
Oh, got it.
So third one's a 25. Or is it 26?
Miss.
I'm better with my hands than I am with a sword.
It's got
Oh.
reverse AC. You gotta hit low in
Oh.
order to hit it. The high rolls don't
Fine.
work.
So that's 4d6 plus 20. Yeah.
20 damage?
No, 32 damage.
Got
It's just
it.
plus 20 because of my modifier 4 times. Pa, 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 pa.
Yeah, this thing is like reduced to like this like like a jello pack. Like
How do my
it's
hands feel?
lost.
I'm okay if I take damage. I'm like, my bandages are probably.
Well, it's
see,
weird because it says when you hit with a melee attack, and if it's a non-magical weapon, it takes the penalty to damage.
But my hands, they're just clean.
Yeah, your hands are like clean, but like the rest of you isn't considered magical. So does that take damage? Like
Probably, yeah. Because
Yeah,
it's just,
okay.
I'm channeling, I imagine it's almost like a very
how
Iron
many
Fist thing,
times
but
did you
better.
hit it?
4.
4 times.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I do have resistance right now because I ghosted
Okay.
over here.
Well, it's 16 acid damage. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, 16 acid damage, but you don't get a negative to damage. Your fists still do the right amount, the same amount of damage it did before. Yeah. All right.
Well,
so
he probably
yeah,
does like a knife hand karate chop type of thing, right? Because
as long as it's not slashing damage,
no, it's
bludgeoning.
It's bludgeoning.
All right. So yeah, basically this thing is just like a jello pack. Like that's all that's left of the mass of this thing. Like Lord of Edge is like obliterated. Got burned in the process. Like those really cool burns where it just
Well, it's
like,
about to get on
just-
my sword, and I block it with my face.
Yeah. 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 It's like that slow-mo where it just like goes across the cheek.
It's really good for acne, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it like sizzles and smokes a little bit. It has probably one last action in it. So Lord of Edge, you're within melee of it, so it's gonna try to hit you this time.
All right.
Does a 13 hit?
No.
All right. So it does not hit you. And it only has one action.
Oh.
So that's it. So now it's Terry's turn.
I guess seeing this vulnerable baby Jello thing over here, I don't really want to get rid of it, but I do feel like it's gonna just indiscriminately attack us over and over, anyways. So
can we get it?
Indiscriminately defend itself, you mean?
You know,
Can we put it in the jug and then we have unlimited alkahest?
Maybe.
do you say that out loud?
Can we get it in the jug?
I'm going to cast Mage Hand instead of attack it
Okay.
if it weighs less than 5 pounds, and I'm
At this point, I'd say yeah.
okay. Yeah,
Evil
Jello
flubber.
pack. All right,
hmm
and I'm gonna hold it there suspended, like clawed in my Mage Hand. If this is RP acceptable,
Nice.
and
It's magical. It's not going to take
Yeah.
any
Yeah, yeah.
penalty.
yeah.
It's made out
So
of force. It's made out of force.
yeah, and I'm just
Yeah.
gonna concentrate on that until we get a jug underneath it, and then I'm gonna kind of like press it in there down.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you press it down into maybe one of the smaller jars that you got. 'Cause I described it as like a pudding pack size.
Yeah.
And yeah, you kind of see this thing. It's kind of like undulating a little bit, trying to like find a place to hide a corner or a crack.
Terry, quick,
Oh.
put it in this spherical jug that we got back in town. Now press the center on.
Are you just grabbing a Pokeball right now? Is that right?
Oh my god. So yeah, so it has like 2 HP.
Oh my god, we can grow it as a pet though now. Now we can just throw stuff in there to feed it whenever. It'll eat anything, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, pretty much.
Um,
Except it's black in color.
okay, right, yeah.
This
So
is great.
yeah, so it seems like you guys have. I mean, you guys are fine. Char.
Ow.
uh,
You guys as a whole, as an individual, Char is messed up.
Yeah, she's like huffing, and then as her rage fades, she just goes, "Ow, ow."
yeah.
Oh,
And-
wow,
and-
you've seen better days. Wow. Oof.
At least it probably won't get infected because of the solvent properties this has. I mean,
I don't know. In my experience, black liquids, thrown across open wounds is. I mean, it could be. We should have a doctor check you out.
Well, you definitely notice that at a point it kind of spreads so much that it just stops burning. Like
Right.
it only goes to a certain point. It's not indefinite.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, my armor and weapons have been melted slightly.
Well, I guess at this point we have a lot of vials. The debris from the thing we fought is like that. That's potent stuff, I think.
I think it's possibly the ones in the rocks, like the little indentions. I'm not sure. Is the goop like a different color than the water, or is it?
So, are you going to try and scoop? And I mean, there's several pools. We'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. You're able to spend some time. You have about 14 different pools in here. It's kind of hard to tell the color because the stone is dark, so it makes all the fluid look dark. And everything's kind of wet too. So
Maybe we should just use Terry's already half melted dagger. And so, do we have anything else like
Well,
paper or something?
let's hold on now. That might be repairable later. I have torches because I can't see
Yeah, torch. Will...
in the dark.
I
I feel
mean-
like the end of a stick is probably a good test, right? Just sort
Yeah,
of.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's fair.
or mage hand,
Mage
Well,
Hand
I mean,
scoop water.
I don't think Mage Hand would
let's
know
make
if it was
one.
burning or not. though.
Yeah, I don't
It's
know.
just-
but I mean, like,
No, but you
I
can
would
scoop
say
water and
like
see
your big glass containers are more than 5 pounds.
Mhm.
But your smaller, like beaker, flask type sizes are.
So you can
We'll
scoop
Get
it.
some
see the color.
samples and then
I would probably, I mean, not like I'd probably like set the container down, even if it's more than 5 pounds, and then I would just like Mage Hand scoop
check the color. You know,
liquid in there
Switch it around.
after the torch test, where I stick
Is
the end of
Mage
the torch
Hand
in there.
solid?
I mean, it can grab things.
But can it go through things?
I don't think so. I mean,
I
I
think-
can conjure it on the other side of things.
Okay.
I don't think it's
okay.
a ghost hand.
Okay.
It could be. Now I'm going to go read Mage Hand. I'll be back.
It's solid. I think it's kind of akin to Bixby's hand is what I always think of it,
Okay.
which does have
Like
an
mini
HP, but it's
Bigbies?
also made out of pure force.
I don't
so-
know. It says you can manipulate the hand to manipulate an object, open an unlocked door container, store or retrieve an item from an open container, pour the contents into a vial. Yeah. So
Okay. Yeah.
okay. Interesting.
So you have about 14 pools here. Roll and see which one you want. Which one do you want to check first?
How many pools?
14.
What's the
14.
biggest pool? I want to check the biggest
The
pool. first.
biggest pool is roughly center, but kind of back corner a little bit. So you can definitely check that one.
I rolled
Okay.
and I got a 1, so I'm gonna check the first pool.
The
As
first
close as-
pool. How are you gonna check it?
I guess I'll just get a vial and scoop.
Okay.
See if
Do
it's-
like an.
Or I'll check it with the. I got a buddy. I got a torchlight too, so I'll just dip the very end of the torch in there first. See if it.
It gets wet. Doesn't seem to have much of effect on the wood, other than getting it wet.
I don't think this one's it.
So the big pool, Terry. How are you gonna test it?
I got a 10, but I'm just gonna have the Mage
A
Hand
10?
for investigation. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then just have the Mage Hand dip the end of a torch into it and see if it melts quick or not.
Yeah, you can see that when you pull it out, it kind of smokes a little bit. It seems to do a little bit less. It's not burning as quick, and it stops a lot quicker than maybe what you saw happen to Char's armor. It
Mhm.
only kind of gets the end of it, so it's not smooth. It's kind of rough and bumpy and kind of eating away at a little bit.
Okay. Well,
Char, would you like to do any checks or
Yes, and
experimentation?
I also have torches. Cool. I'm gonna just the 8th pool that is there. That's what I'm. I will inspect
eighth
and just
Pool will
Stab.
bump you over a little bit because the 8th pool is kind of the same pool Terry had just jumped.
Oh,
So, but the one right next to it, it's not the second. It's a nice size. It's not tiny. It's
Mhm.
so you dip it in and you kind of notice it burns away at it like Terry's does. It eats away a little bit longer at it. So maybe the smaller pool is a little bit more concentrated than the larger pool is.
okay. I'll mention that to the guys. This one's a little more
And it's that
Legend.
pool's a little bit further back. So Terry's is roughly in a nice open area where it's still relatively lit. You go a little bit further back and notice that pool, it's a little bit more concentrated, it seems like.
okay. So it's pretty dark where I am. Kind of.
It's getting a little dim light, but it's not dark.
Okay. I can see perfectly fine, but I want Terry to be able to go over there, so I will produce flame in my hand and just kind of hold it out. That has a 10-foot radius of a 10-foot radius of bright light
Mhm.
and additional 10 feet of dim. So it's a decent amount of light.
Okay.
Does it seem like it goes? This cave
It
goes much
goes.
further?
It does go a little bit further. It's a lot less smooth. The further in, so you probably have like another 10, 15 feet where there's a few more pools that are a little bit smaller. But it seems like the terrain itself becomes a little bit more of a maze that you would have to traverse and not kind of like an open, washed out area.
Okay.
Like you'd have to actually like crawl around structures and squeeze through things. But there are definitely a couple more pools around you, and one a little bit further back.
So I rolled a second D14 through the power of DiceBot, and I got
Uh-huh.
another one. So I feel like what that means is the Lord of Edge has decided. While he knows that the stronger stuff is supposed to be towards the back, he has decided to conduct a science experiment, and he will put his torch kind of near the water of the first one again to try to boil off the water to maybe concentrate it. I don't know why. That's
Okay.
what the dice have told me he wants to do.
Got it.
Perhaps maybe if we refined it like alcohol.
Could be. So you want to collect from the pool of char, or do you want to try to see if you can't find something more concentrated? We all know what Lord of Edge is doing.
I'll give
What is your theory? Or you share it with the group.
Yes, I have a theory that the further back we go to the smaller pools, the more concentrated it is.
Could be.
But that's just a theory.
Quite the
we
hot
should,
pot news.
We should
Yeah.
walk back there and find out.
Yeah. So Char, there's a pool to your left. There's a pool kind of in front of you to your right. Then there's a kind of bigger pool in the back corner on your right. And then there's a few small pockets here and there where you could collect a little bit, but not really the gallons you were kind of looking for.
Oh, I want to test out some of the smallest ones just to see
Okay,
if they're
so
more concentrated.
There are two small ones. One you could definitely get like maybe a gallon in total. The other one is a bit bigger and probably looks like a bit easier to like kind of dip down in. And are you doing the same torch test?
Yeah, I'm gonna torch test them both, but I'm gonna do the smallest one first just to see.
So definitely eats away at it much quicker, much more like what you were experiencing with your armor. It kind of, and quickly, it just kind of eats away at the wood of your torch.
Okay. And then the next one, the little bit larger one.
There's a larger one to the right and a larger one to the left. Well, the larger one to the left is the one that you had tested already. So the larger one to the right, it's about the same. It doesn't go as quick. It seems kind of like a mix between that first one and the second one that you did.
Okay. Okay. My theory is proving correct so far.
Yeah.
Yep. Terry, what do you think? That smallest pool, we probably, if we were able to get all of it, it'd be like a gallon. But this one's a little bit not as strong. It's stronger than that one, but not as strong as that one. What do you think we should do?
I think we should perhaps collect the small ones and then maybe go for the big one. I think you're correct. I think the water coming back in from the ocean probably dilutes everything closer to the mouth of the cave. So everything in the back here, I'm going to assume is a little bit stronger. With what I've seen from what you've been playing around in these tiny puddles, the small ones definitely seem potent enough. We should test all of them, but
yeah,
the small ones seem worthy of taking with us. I don't see any downside. It's not like we have anything else to do today. I'll just, scoop them up.
So definitely the last one that Char had tested is a bit bigger than some of the other pools, even the first pool. So you definitely get enough out of that last pool that she collected. It's kind of like in the back corner. But that one isn't the most potent, but it is close to being the most potent. Basically, the big pool that you collected from can do 2d6 acid damage. The first one Char had collected from can do 4d6 acid damage. The little one that she collected from can do 8d6 acid damage. And then the last one does 66 acid damage.
Ooh.
Okay.
Is 66 another small one, or is that the big another big?
It was
That's
the
the
big one
big
in the corner.
Okay, yeah. It seems
The-
just like the stuff in the back is the good stuff.
You guys.
Yeah,
back
and this
around,
really tiny pool is the real good stuff.
the little
Yeah.
veg has like the weak sauce stuff in a vial, and he's holding his torch.
It's more salt than anything.
He's kind of pours out a bunch of like sea salt.
It probably is good for your face. You could just
Mhm.
Oh, he
I-
invented a new exfoliant.
Yeah. there you
Salt
go.
with a touch of acid.
Yes.
Isn't that most
Salicylic
like
acid is
exfoliating
good.
things?
Yeah.
Or-
Yeah. There's
But no
certain
one's
acids that are
cornered the
good.
market yet.
Yeah. Exactly.
This did not work as I had hoped. It has turned into a solid.
Well, we got some. Maybe you can take some sea salt back to Genus, and he might like that for seasoning stuff.
Should I get some that was not previously contaminated with deadly
Yeah.
acid or that?
I
Yeah,
think
it cleans
so.
you right out.
I have heard
Yep.
of, I have heard of acid reflux before. I have not experienced
it's-
it, but it sounds terrible.
Of course, of course. It's just a little extra spicy. That's all.
We potentially might have as much as we need with.
Yeah, you
I don't know.
guys-
I don't know if we should give him a name.
Flubber.
I don't know. I mean, what if we're not allowed to keep them? I don't want to get too attached.
Well,
Give me a history check.
When was the last time you didn't keep something? Everybody,
Yeah.
history check.
that
Yeah.
is-
See, you
yeah.
are allowed to keep things like that.
17.
I'm gonna say probably not, but
Yeah. Let's see how this goes. That's a 7. Yeah. This is fine.
I got a 7 too.
Yay!
7 was the number of the night. So
17.
17.
Yeah.
Well, 7 is what you had to get for the pudding. So
Gotcha.
you have a creature in which no one bothers you about. You have seen other people with familiars or pets or anything like that.
Mhm.
You don't know specifically the nature in which you are allowed to keep exotic pets. But there are just
Are the animal
certain
rights people gonna come after?
ordinances that need to be abided by, like it not being a nuisance, it being leashed.
Take
got the
that,
leash
Carol
law here.
Baskins.
All right. So this is an unleashed potential
Well,
nuisance.
but it
It's
is
just a-
contained.
That's true. That's
It's
true.
contained.
It's
We'll just
basically
have to get a larger
I mean, you
jar
can-
for it.
A lot of people know
like the
you.
socket hermit crab.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as long as it's not a nuisance, as long as it's not doing something that would get it reported, as long as it's not causing citywide damage or eating people, and long as it's contained and
Yeah.
managed, you can't think of anything that would keep you from this particular species as a pet.
It was
Okay,
pretty
so if
chill
no one
until we
finds
threw a
out
fire at it.
And it doesn't get outside the.
Right.
If we keep it fed and make it our friend, it won't try to attack
Yeah,
us.
it might.
It'll be the
eat-
Babadook.
It
It'll
might
be the
eat
Babadook. Yeah.
Genus's cat. But
You know,
I
that's its name now is Babadook. I'm naming it Babadook.
I was thinking pudding. but
Pudding
yeah.
or Babadook? Okay.
Babadook I like. That's pretty good.
So you guys are definitely able to collect enough of this material. Even you definitely wouldn't want to touch it. You know, you wouldn't want to touch it. It does a lot of acid damage. The bottles seem to hold it just fine. I am sure you use some sort of combination of mage hand and other methods to collect the materials. You can dip it in some seawater to make sure the exterior doesn't have acid on it.
So it just evaporates.
Yeah.
Crap. Whoops.
So yeah, you definitely guys are able to collect. It takes a little bit of time, but you know, what else are you gonna do today?
The Lord of Edge, I get. You know, he'll do it. It'll just to be nice. He feels a little bit bad that we came into this place and wrecked this thing's entire situation that going on. He'll throw his coat over the bottle containing Babadook.
Mm-hmm.
Just will periodically check it, just because I don't know if it likes the sunshine. I feel like probably not, since it lives in a cave. And so I don't want to take it in a spherical thing, and then it goes outside and it starts evaporating. Or
as a creature who seemed to enjoy hiding in the shadows,
and
you can definitely feel that empathy of not being allowed to hide in the shadows.
Are we
I'll
the
just put the
villains
hat
here?
over it. That'll work.
Are we
Yeah.
the villains here? Should we just let this thing back out? Because this will no
No.
longer be a renewable resource if we get rid of it, right? Because I feel like this thing's contributing.
I think we may have just made like 5 more. So we'll see.
We'll see.
Get another one. Start a breeding program.
Right? Yeah. These are going to be an endangered
Is it
species
not-
now. This is a problem. We're
Does it
bad
not do
people.
it itself?
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Mitosis? I don't know.
It can split.
Yeah, but
It
does
can
the part that's
duplicate
split?
itself.
Okay, yeah. If it can duplicate, then it's fine.
We'll just go take it back where those rats were. This
In the
Soft
city?
probably, yeah. Put it in the sewer. It's fine. It would actually improve things.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, what if it just fills up the sewer?
It dissolves things. It's fine.
Yeah, I
Everything's gonna
know.
be
And
fine.
then when it gets bigger
This-
than the sewer and comes out to
Right.
dissolve things.
Greg, this will have no repercussions whatsoever. That are negative.
Alright.
I don't know
Let's
what you're
just
talking.
let's try to keep it contained
You're
for now
right.
until
Yeah.
we get to know what it is.
We gotta
Yeah.
take it to the Poke Center.
And how efficiently does it grow? Like if I give it like
Yeah,
table
we need-
scraps.
We need to run some tests.
Yeah.
We will make sure they are humane for Babadook.
After we've already beaten it almost to death. Nah.
Yes. Didn't know what it was, and I launched a flame ball at it. It's not necessarily a fireball, but a flaming
She
sphere.
didn't burning
No.
hands.
I didn't burning hands it. I
Yeah.
produced flamed it.
It's fine. Its memory is probably not that good.
Maybe not.
We'll feed it.
It's
and
not
maybe
memory
it'll forgive
foam.
us. Well, yeah. Hey.
I did it.
So you guys are able to collect all your stuff, get going. You can, if you wanted to quicken the travel, like 2 of you sleep, 2 of you navigate, and just
2.
kind of switch
There's
off.
3 of us.
No. Now
Sorry,
we have
I was-
Babadook.
I was counting myself in my windows to look at.
just like hard cut to us 3 sleeping in the wagon and like the slimes.
Still in the jar, and just the reins around it.
Around
It's
the
like
jar.
a gerbil
Yeah.
or a hamster ball.
Oh my god.
So you guys you're able to get back. Maybe you excuse me. Made it back in better time. Took you like 2.5, 3 days instead of the 4. Because it's really not a hard road. It's mostly desert, arid.
Yes,
So yeah, you're able to get back. You've got your jugs. You've got your creature in a bottle that I hope you've been feeding this whole time.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you just want to report in, or
Yes.
You
Yeah.
you have a thing. What do you want to do with your
With the
very
thing.
dangerous things?
That's a very good question.
Well,
That's a
obviously, we should
question.
hide Babadook from anybody who might report him.
Anybody and everybody. He's just gonna be in a glass jug that's got blankets and stuff over it, just like smuggled in.
Realistically, what I feel like we have to do for the narrative, he has to stay in one of our rooms, like we rotate it so it's harder to get caught. And every once in a while, we open the jug up and feed him a little bit, and we're just waiting to see what happens until it gets
Yeah.
too big, right? That's
The first couple times you opened it, he seemed to try to escape. But after a while, you guys have been like consistently feeding him like on a nice schedule. Doesn't seem to be so aggressive. When you guys feed it.
Oh, that's sweet. Does he get excited when it's feeding time? Does he like
It's
jiggle?
not quite excited. It's not like, hey, we're best buds now. It's like, okay, maybe you guys aren't so bad.
Sweet. Pet slime.
Yeah.
So
I'm just waiting for it to like vibrate before feeding time. Like it knows and it's getting
like
excited.
it's getting excited. Like
Yeah.
maybe Bartholomew Jenkins might know, like, sir, are we going to the library, like, how to take care of your slime?
it's
How to be good slime parents.
the Dummy's Guide to Slime.
Dummy's
How to be a slime rancher?
Yes. Good. That's a good one.
Listen, we traveled to the coast to get
Surprised.
this stuff. Why don't we just bring the thing? This is a good thing. We need this thing.
Yes. We need it. It can save us.
You do
my
notice
God.
that as you guys are kind of like riding back into town, not sure if you guys are just going to go straight back to the tavern or not.
Well, not if I see something suspicious. What's going on here?
Well, not necessarily suspicious. It's just quiet. Like
Everyone's dead.
usually, the town has been bustling, and you've noticed like morale and everything's been down with different parties of adventurers leaving to try and figure out how to handle this this pest problem that seems to be swallowing buildings whole.
Things getting real
Um,
tense.
Yeah, you could just kind of feel like, people aren't as open as they are. Morale's been kind of low. So as you're walking through town, you kind of, you might get the wave or something. But a lot of people seem to be staying more indoors recently, not sure about their own safety of the outdoors.
Oh yes, Char and Lord of it.
Yes.
I have a quick question. Do you remember that weird communal dream we had whenever we were on a ship?
Yes, and we were attacked by a giant thing with tentacles that wasn't quite an octopus.
Right. Well, I was thinking, Tamara in that dream, she had a black book. Was it this black book? This one, right here.
Give me a history.
I'm sorry,
Was
I was distracted. It's much too pleasant in town today. I don't know what it is.
No, mine is really
Sunny
low.
must be away.
Mine was 6.
I rolled an 11.
Lord of Edge. Are you gonna roll or no?
Yeah, I'll roll a history.
Yeah, it's your dream. Yeah, history.
I rolled a 5.
Yeah, Black Book. I mean,
It's weird.
you don't recall from the dream any distinct markings, like the one you had. It's roughly the same size, but you recall that it's black in the size it was when she was holding it, but not anything that would make you
Yeah.
feel like they were the same book.
What does
I'm
this
not
book
sure.
look like?
So this one is like stitched together leather.
I do think you mentioned Stitch Together. I'm not positive about that. We have that
It's,
recorded. I'll find out later, but I think you did. That means Terry thinks that it's the same thing.
Yeah, and it's
So-
not like it's kind of crude.
Okay.
So patchwork, different sizes, kind of different hues of black, some more reddish or bluish or whatever. And you definitely notice that the liquid, once you get it in the jars, this acid material has a bluish tinge to it. It is clear for the most part, whatever rocks or something you might have collected up in with when you had scooped it up, but it's definitely that bluish color that the book had mentioned.
Cool.
So we're going to need to distill this and make it into its purest form.
What it is my question being is, it seems that if this was the same book, the stars would align that she would have it, right? Perhaps I should give this to her.
Maybe warn her.
I mean,
I would
what
warn
about
her.
what that I found it in an office in a bag?
In the church, and that it is very prone to leading you down rabbit holes. So that she is
Right.
aware. She might not mind or care, but at least she's aware.
I think they're at least on our side since they did save our lives, but this is a very dangerous thing we're giving to an inquisitive mind. Unless you just wish it out of your possession, Terry. I imagine you're more tempted than most of us.
What? No! Oh heavens, no! I mean, what is it? What is it going to tell me? You know, like what are we looking for? You know what? Actually, don't tell me what I would look in it because then I'll be tempted to open it.
Yes, I mean, we haven't just looked at it and said how to kill a god, you know?
We did though. That's how we.
No, I said we asked what it was, and then slowly, or what did it
That's
want,
fine.
and then it slowly went down a rabbit hole, and then we found Alcahest, and that's it.
Maybe we should, loan it to tomorrow and say we're coming back for it in a couple of days. That way, none of us spend too long with the book and end up like Bartholomew Jenkins.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I just feel like Genus would stop her from doing anything crazy with it. You know.
Yeah, I think Genus would.
It's,
Well, all right. Let's head back.
Yep, let's go.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a good walk to get through town and to the tavern. You guys are able to get back. Kind of dead in the tavern. It's a little bit later in the day. Usually it's not so quiet. It's like the rush should have been here, and it's not that dinner rush. Clary Genus is in his same spot. Tamara seems to be at the bar with a few books, ledgers you've seen before, where she tries to keep track of the ins and outs of the guild, kind of going through, as she doesn't seem to be in anybody's way since there's really nobody in here besides the two of them and the cat. So yeah, so it's just quiet. Kind of just the somber the same somberness that you guys experienced walking into the town. And Genus at least looks up at you and acknowledges your return. Says, you've been gone long enough.
Yes, we have. And we believe we've collected some Alcahest. We believe.
Well, good. Whatever it is, better be good stuff because we're not going to need it.
What's happening?
You-
What's going on?
Something happened while we were gone.
There is a plan. One of the smaller towns was assaulted by the creature. So there is a plan. Many of the cities and towns in the area that can offer the last bit of aid, I suppose, that they have. It's just we are going to take care of it once and for all. No more games of trying to track the beast. Apparently, someone has decided to take the lizard folk a little bit more seriously, and it seems everybody's tired of the events of late. It's happened, going on long enough. It's time to do something about it. So, if your plan works, you could potentially.
Genus, how long do we have until this takes place? Because when we said we brought some alkahest, we might have been underselling it a little. If we're just walking back into our rooms, I guess we still have all our stuff with us, don't we? Like we haven't.
Mm,
So he, I guess, just kind of looks at it as like, should we just show him? We may need to feed it a lot if that's.
Yeah, especially if we want to mass produce it. You know.
Yeah,
what
so
I
it's
mean?
kind of just like take the jug out. It's like we may have been underselling it a little.
This
Shakes
is
it.
like it's kind of like pudding. It's kind of goofy, but it moves back and forth. He goes, "What is that?
Oh, well,
Is that
is,
your alkahest?"
It's,
Oh no,
the
that's the stuff
producer.
in the jugs. This, as Char said, makes alkahest.
Yes.
He like takes out a claw and kind of like taps at the glass and goes, "What? It looks like mud. What is it?"
Yes,
I
yes,
suppose
yes,
we
yes.
should
Watch.
feed it.
What can we give it? We'll just look around at anything that's
Oh,
around
do we
us.
still have some of that pickled eel?
well, it
For the
seems to
evening
just
job?
dissolve whatever you give it. I don't
Well,
know what it.
yes, but
My first thought, although the sacrifice would be great, would be to release it in Terry's room.
Whoa, hold on now. It would get out of control. It needs a controlled environment. There's not an
Terry's
organized.
room isn't a controlled environment. Are you kidding?
Right, exactly. I'm saying that it would grow out of control. You couldn't put it in my room.
Listen, the point is, it makes alkahest. It seems to eat something. Surely someone in this town with a library is smart enough to figure out how to make this thing grow quickly and produce what we need.
You hear Tamara shut her book and seem interested in your conversation. He's like, "So you caught yourself a pudding?"
Yes,
In a
we've
word.
become sort of fond of it. He doesn't even get angry at us anymore. Really, he really just sits there and waits for food.
The creature is well known as a black pudding. There are different kinds. I'm surprised that this is what you were looking for. I was expecting something a little less potent.
Oh no, we need extremely potent. And she'll kind of like point at the kind of melted portions of her armor. It got me pretty good, honestly.
And we're not suggesting that we just chop this thing up. It
no.
secretes an acid. And we found all these pools.
Correct. You could possibly find somebody who studied these creatures or study it yourself. But from what I understand, it is like a what it secretes after it has consumed something. So it eats and then it gets rid of the things it doesn't need anymore.
Great, we're going to be saved by black pudding poop, is what.
Yeah, you can kind of see that there's like a small like film of this once it kind of settles in the jar. There's like a small little film of this like bluish clear material. Yeah, more like piece, but poop.
Urine, poop, whatever.
It
It's
it is a
material.
solvent. It is a liquid.
Yes.
So good
have-
job, I guess.
We have a lot of jars of this, a little more diluted stuff.
Not bad.
No, but some of this is more potent. Like, bring up the jar of that smaller pool that was very potent. This is the most potent we have besides Babadook here.
I just feel like we're gonna need more. We're gonna need like
Bless
kegs of it. Just so many kegs of it. I'm not.
Like that. She look at Gina. She goes, "Brother, did you give them this idea? It's quite clever."
Hold on, I want to roll something real quick.
Okay.
I'm gonna roll deception to see if she can hide like the awkward sweat. That's a 3, so no.
He starts steaming.
Yes,
So
like,
obvious.
He's like,
He kind of looks at her and he's like, "Do you think I would? This is my approach to things. You know me so well. You think this is what I would think of doing?" Like, I suppose not. Well, it's awkward silence.
like sweating.
Either way, you should probably share your discovery. It seems like Dietry is the one who's kind of pulled the plug on taking care of this matter for once and for all. I do not know what is gotten his goat to say, but
Is that the guy I stole the book from?
he's
He's the one that was having the conversation.
it was in
with
his
the guy.
office, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
He seems to, be ready to just be done with this problem.
I think he may be worried about competition.
Competition?
Well, it's not. It wasn't Dimitri that was the problem. Is this another guy that was making? Okay, so we may have been. Looks
Listen,
around the
kids,
tavern.
Perhaps the less you know, the better. But
There's
How long have we been in each other's company? Tamara and Genus and all of us together.
yeah.
You guys don't usually get like social with Tamara.
Mhm.
She usually is kind of like the one gathering quests for you guys and she's like the administrator, so you know her and you're cordial with her, but like Genus is the one that kind of is the name in which you say to get things in the city. He is the head of the guild. But I mean, you've known each other. Like, probably Lord of Edge has gotten the most friendly with Genus in the past couple months. But you guys have been doing this part of your stories, probably for the greater part 4 or 5 months, because there have been breaks in between. You've traveled for months, you've traveled for weeks, you had some downtime.
Cool. So question is we've skimmed some off the top for a little expenditures. Have we gotten away with all those, or have we got away with some shady, underhanded things that Genus and probably Tamara know about?
They probably know. Like, it's not like, I mean, you all live in the same place, so it's not like you're getting but that's just kind of how the guild operates.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they know that they're not getting the best of the best adventurers in their guild, but Genus himself hopes to, guide the new generation into being better.
All right.
Whereas Tamara is kind of just eccentric.
Yeah, they definitely know about the radio now, right? Because
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they've probably seen Terry with it, and they probably know about the pendant that Osire has. It's more or less like, well, we could all cash in on it, but it seems like somebody just wants to keep it, and that's usually okay. Like, Tamara has kept things; she's kept books and stuff like that instead of sharing it because
I expect it's still little.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, my conscience is going to be very guilty because I don't want to hold on to this book. I don't think either of us want to hold on to this book. And in my dreams, I feel like Tamara is meant to have the book.
Well, I mean,
So as soon as she's like,
Char wants to
Like,
tell.
oh, did y'all think of this or whatever? I'm going to be like, oh, I can't do it anymore tomorrow. We didn't think of the plan. It was all this damn book that I stole from Dimitri's office. Please don't
We went
turn us
down a rabbit hole, okay? I went down a rabbit hole because it wasn't okay. Oh, all right.
She seems a little startled by your volume. She puts her ears down.
It's a magic book, possibly evil.
Also, it's
Ancient.
One of our friends said you get really lost in it. You could not be left unsupervised with it. You would probably need Genus there with you to make
Yeah,
sure that you
also,
don't waste away while reading it.
because
But
it will,
also-
it
this is
will
it.
go by your
Here you
thoughts.
go. By the way, we all had a
and-
communal dream, and you were holding it as a dream. So I suppose you're meant to have it.
That book. But
It's also magical and sentient.
It
probably.
is. And it had a lot of alchemical stuff in it. If you ask it, what is your purpose, and you follow the footnote, you will find all the alchemical stuff, and then it'll talk about how to make living sentient beings, and then you'll find alkahest.
Also,
that's
if you
the-
decide not to report us, it is stolen, so don't let anybody see it.
Yes.
So you guys kind of like. So you guys kind of unload all this information that you've been sitting on for about a little over a week. And she nods. She kind of takes it all in. She kind of like smiling a little bit.
Oh no, we're in trouble.
This outburst is kind of amusing. And do you show her the book, or are you just talking about it?
No, I'm going to hand her the book.
Show. Yeah.
She looks at the book and she goes, "Well, hello, old friend." And that's her game.
Wait, what? Hold on.
Thank you so much for
She's
joining
still in
us
the library?
tonight. I hope you enjoyed it just as much as I did. And the players. I hope the players enjoyed
How dare
it
you.
too. If you enjoyed this game, please join us again in 2 weeks. But you could also most definitely go and check out our other material on our Patreon / into the dungeon, or you can go inthedungeon.net. Check out all of our goodies that we have to offer. We definitely have things going on, new shows, new content, and it's just a lot of good for you. So thanks so much for joining us. I hope we see you again in 2 weeks. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.